So, what the hell is happening with Raven Johnson with the Fever? I genuinely am kind of perplexed by this whole situation. The Indiana Fever, obviously, employ Raven Johnson. They drafted Raven Johnson. Why did they draft Raven Johnson? Because they basically, as like what they said was, or they implied, oh, we don't want to keep looking for backup point guards for Caitlin Clark every year. Okay. So you already had signed Ty Harris. So you drafted Raven Johnson to potentially be a backup 2 to 3 years down the line. Okay, cool. Cool. But there were the 3 picks after Raven Johnson, in my opinion, would all be rotational pieces for the Fever. So you've got next pick after the Fevers was Cody McMahon. Fever were never going to draft Cody McMahon, but Cody McMahon would be playing for the Fever. She'd be in the rotation. After that, you have got a situation where after Cody McMahon, the next best player would be our next pick was Nell Angloma. Nell Angloma, fresh off the plane at 19 years old, came in and had a solid defensive performance with 7 points against the Aces while being a +4 on the floor. Straight off the plane, hadn't practiced with the team, and she looked good against the Aces. Then there was Medina Okot. Medina Okot is big. She is aggressive. She is she's big. She's aggressive. She has some willingness to shoot the ball, and she projects to be a good player. She projects to be a genuinely good player. However, they decided to take a player they had no intention of playing because she has been frozen out. The Indiana Fever drafted a player that fans were like, why did you draft her? And then played so well in preseason that fans 180 and are like, yes, okay. The Indiana Fever knew what they were doing. They drafted a good player. Only to bench her and not play her any minutes and have her play her in such weird minutes. Like, okay, what are Raven Johnson's minutes? So we're going to play her as a off-the-ball shooting guard half the time. We're not going to play her with Caitlin Clark. We're going to put her into rotation so Ty Harris comes in for Caitlin Clark, and then she comes in for Kelsey Mitchell near the end of the first quarter, and then she subs out for Caitlin Clark. So she's a point guard in the lineup with Ty Harris on the floor. Like, her net rating and all her stats she actually looks, if you look at her stats, she is statistically one of the worst players in the league. She is what we are, genuinely one of the worst players in the league as far as the net rating goes. I think her net rating is her on-off numbers are -20. It is scary. It is scary how bad the Indiana Fever are being with Raven Johnson on the floor. And it's not her fault. What is she supposed to do? She is being brought in now as a player to walk the ball down the floor, pass the ball to players who can't score, and do nothing else. Do nothing else. What she is a dog of a defender. She does foul quite a lot. That is the problem with this new defense. She'll get used to it. She is a dog of a defender who can be the Marcus Smart to this team. She can be the Marcus Smart to Caitlin Clark. But the Indiana Fever and Stephanie Wyatt have absolutely no intention of using her like she's Marcus Smart. They have no intention of using her like she projects to be as a pro. They care more about using her exactly like she was used in South Carolina. Literally, she wants to be used how she's being used exactly like South Carolina is what Fever want to do. And she's not good enough to do that at the pro. Every player has to adjust from college to the pros. And she's being asked to do exactly what she does in South Carolina. The difference is it worked when she was in South Carolina. Why did it work when she was in South Carolina? Because she looked to her left For a few years, there was Maya Fulwiley. She looked to her left, there was Tania Latson. She looked to her right, there was Tessa Johnson. Against 90% of your opponents, Tania Latson has the advantage over her matchup. Tessa Johnson has the advantage over her matchup. Joyce Edwards has the advantage over her matchup, as is Medina O'Cott. No matter where you look, left or right, you have an advantage over your matchup. But a lot of the time, she's on the floor in a lineup where the two players in the wings are Ty Harris and fucking Lexi Hull, who no matter what she goes left or right, it's a disadvantage. She is being put into situations where nobody can succeed. Like, she's being put into situations where she's not going to succeed and then being benched because of it. It is genuinely one of these things where I'm like, Raven Johnson is a player that could actually be a positive for a team where nobody can play defense. Absolutely. Absolutely nobody. Nobody. And I mean nobody. Is expecting Raven freaking Johnson to be this crazy player other than South Carolina fans. And nobody expected Raven Johnson to be out of the fucking team. Out of the team. Like, I'm sorry. No player should be expected to play their B and C game. And she does one, like, every other team drafts a player and says, what do they do? What can they do to help our team? And there's a lot of things Raven Johnson can do to help your team. The Indiana Fever drafted a player based on what did they do in college? How did they play in college? Not what skills can be translated to this level and how can we fit that into our team. It's what did they do in college and how are they going to be at practice? Do they put their shopping carts back? Like, the Indiana Fever had no plan for Raven Johnson. The Indiana Fever had no intention of playing Raven Johnson. They still think this is 2021, where the first 4 picks in the draft were Charlie Collier, Ari McDonald, freaking Awak Kuier, who was 19 and not ready at the time, and Kaiser Gondrzik. They still think that they can take in back to back fucking years in the lottery. Take Tiara McCown, who they dumped after her second season. Lauren Cox, who they cut after her rookie year. Kaiser Gondrzik, who they cut after her rookie year. Emily Enksler, who they cut after her rookie year. They still think that these first round picks, they're like, oh yeah, Ravens is top 4 pick. Based on what? Based on what? And ironically, Raven Johnson didn't live up to the hype. She actually, was doing insane in preseason. Then got benched. Why? Because there was no intention of playing her. Why? Because there's a vet. Like, she is being screwed over by the Indiana Fever. If she goes to any other team she's in the rotation. Why? Because she has one transferable skill that she does extremely well. But the Indiana Fever don't care about her having one transferable skill. They care more about her doing exactly what she did at South Carolina, which she's not going to be able to do. Raven Johnson at the pro level is not going to be a point guard to be able to run the offense with inferior players. She is going to be a point guard that is going to be able to take some ball handling pressure off Caitlin Clark. She's a point guard that's going to be able to take some ball handling pressure off other people, but she's not a scorer. This quote-unquote true point guard is the most dumb shit ever. That is the true, in the WNBA, if someone calls someone a true point guard, that just means they can't score. That is, like, by definition, if they call someone a true point guard, that just means they can't score. Teams don't guard Raven Johnson. They don't. It makes the offense 4v5. You cannot have Raven Johnson on the ball, making decisions because everyone else gets guarded tighter. You have to have Raven Johnson as a defensive pest, a Marcus Smart, a cutter, until a time where she shoots the ball a little bit better. And then when she's playing off the ball, she gets wide open catch and shoot shots, which she'll shoot at about a 32% rate. But no, the Indiana Fever want her exactly what she's doing at South Carolina, which she's failing miserably at, and are then benching her because they're not putting her in position to succeed. It is what it is.